Alan Nyberg, known as Alan King, was also a product of Brooklyn. He grew up in Williamsburg as part of a blended family. His mother adopted and fostered his cousins, so the brood was 8 in number. And Alan King's father was active in union business, and they had a fondness for Roosevelt. In the King household, there was Die Welt, Jena Welt, and Roosevelt. And that was their political orientation. Alan grew up tough. He was a boxer. In fact, that's how he got his name King. He went to Canada. He boxed a black boxer named King, who beat him pretty decidedly, and he acquired King as his moniker. He also worked in the Catskills. And in 1944, he worked in Lakewood in the wintertime at the Tisch Hotel, which was the biggest hotel. Before Jews went to Florida in the winter, they went to Lakewood. And now, of course, it's a home for a very big Orthodox community. Alan King married the richest girl in his neighborhood, whose father owned the Sprung Monument Company. Of course, Jews and other people died in great numbers, and so the Sprung Monument Company did a hefty business. Unable to have children, the Kings adopted 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl. And King had trouble with his youngsters, which became part of his comedic routine. For example, his second son, he said he bought a college just to get him into college. During his bar mitzvah lessons, he could not manage to memorize the Haftorah. He said, my wife knew the Haftorah, my oldest son knew the Haftorah, I knew the Haftorah, even my dog knew the Haftorah, and this Goylem couldn't recite it. So he turned his anger into comedy. He turned against airline food. He turned against insurance companies. He was an angry young man who had tremendous talent. He acted in movies. He was on there, Somebody Up There Likes Me with Paul Newman. He was in the biopic of a famous singer with a tragic life, Helen Morgan's story. He went to England, and like Danny Kaye, he was greeted by the Queen, and now it was Queen Elizabeth. And according to protocol, the Queen said, "Hello, Mr. King." And he replied, according to protocol, "Hello, Mrs. Queen," which is typical Jewish humor. Everyone, king and queen, are on a common level, and Jewish humor levels the playing field. Just before he died, he came up to Kutsher's. I had earlier lectured on his life, and here he was entertaining, and he was telling jokes, poking fun of himself. He said to us in the audience, "You know, my prostate has grown bigger than my ego," a line he borrowed from Susie Essman. He then talked about a shtetl balagula, a man who was so evil, so hated, that even his local rabbi wouldn't preside at his funeral. So they had to get a rabbi from a distant shtetl to come and preside. And the rabbi says, Chaim Yankel, to use a common name, was an atheist, a thief, a liar, a braggart, an egomaniac. He beat his children, he beat his wife. His 3 brothers live in my shtetl, and compared to them, he was an angel. And everyone cracked up. King, unfortunately, despite his lust for life, smoked incessantly, cigar and cigarette, and here's the moral fable. He first acquired tongue cancer. from which he survived. And then came lung cancer, when he switched from cigarettes to cigars. I can see him now up in Gan Eden blowing smoke rings into the Eberstein's face and saying, "Excuse me, sir, I meant to be funny." And it's sad that he died. He was 74 years young, but he left a legacy of love and laughter for which Brooklyn Jews and many others are forever grateful.